Welcome back to Esoteric Om. Tonight we're going to talk a little bit about ghosts. Now, a lot of people are scared of ghosts. Ghosts have a pretty negative connotation in our culture. And traditionally they're thought of as spirits who haven't fully gone through the complete death process and into the final level or whatever, and they remain stuck for some reason. Whether it's a trauma, an accident, unfinished business, they don't fully kind of go through that tunnel to the white light, right? So they get stuck in a particular place. They maybe are stuck in a particular moment, and they need something to be done, they need answers, or they have unfinished business. So basically the astral shell that that isn't in the body and on the death process leaves the body, gets stuck in a place, kind of like in a loop. And they will cause all sorts of flickering lights, noises. You can see shadowy figures because they have not gone into the great beyond. They're stuck somewhere. And the reason we're going to talk about ghosts tonight is because we came up to Chattanooga for the weekend, and we are staying at the Reed House, a very, very, very old hotel. Been here since 1872. I believe it's the longest continually functioning hotel in the Southeast. It's seen all sorts of things. Obviously, when you're a hotel this big, you're going to have people who die on the premises. It was also used as a military field hospital at some point. There was a morgue in the basement. And you can look up the Reed House online, and there's a particular story that's kind of captured everyone's attention. Locals know about it. Anyone who stays here and experiences a lot of these same phenomena. So there was a lady, and let me make sure I get her name correctly. It was Annalisa Netherly. She checked in 1927, kind of at the tail end of the roaring 20s. She was recently married, and her husband checked into room 311. He was down from Chicago, I believe, on business. So he had projects going on, and what happened was all of his projects started to experience all these issues, all this trouble. Equipment malfunctioned, supplies were late, deadlines were missed. So his bosses basically requested that he go back home and report, like, hey, a telegram won't do. We need you back. We need answers. So, he left his wife and he said, hey, you stay here. Here's a little bit of allowance. Stay in the room. Don't cause any trouble. And he went back home. So, being a young, pretty, adventurous woman, Annalise Netherly would hang out at the billiards club downstairs at the bar. The husband and the trip ended up taking a couple weeks, then a few weeks, then a month. And she got bored. She's from the big city. She's a big city girl. So she started hanging out, and a lot of the people that came through this hotel were traveling salesmen, so smooth talkers, people who know how to get what they want. And it wasn't long before she started entertaining some of these gentlemen. She kind of developed a little bit of a reputation of someone who would, who is having fun, who, people would come to this hotel, they would get together and become intimate. And eventually what happened was word got back to her husband that, hey, your wife is in this hotel. There's stories being told all about her. And he rushed back home, right? He rushed back home, probably angry, frustrated. And he got here, and he went into his hotel room and caught her with another man. So he basically dragged the other guy outside, beat him to within an inch of his life. And then he went back into his room, and he grabbed her and he put her in the bathtub, and he grabbed his shaving knife and he basically beheaded her. So that's kind of the story. And he greased a few palms. The hotel really didn't want it getting out at that time, so he essentially got away pretty much scot-free. But now room 311 is haunted. and they do ghost tours. People can actually rent the room in a specific season, and they always kind of experience what you would typically experience with a ghost. You know, you see stuff out of the corner of your eye, you see her, you hear weird noises, the radio would turn on, no matter what station they put on, and I'm getting chills in the back of my head talking about it, which is funny. It would always be like jazz music, all this stuff, right? All this stuff. People would always check out very quickly. They would just leave. I can't take it. I'm creeped out. All this weird stuff's happening. You know, even me talking about it now, I don't really get freaked out too much, but it's a little. It's causing a physical reaction that you would imagine. The room temperature drops. You get that weird feeling, like I said, on the back of your neck. Your skin starts to crawl. Anyway, the point is, we were here and we did the ghost tour of the room. We saw the room. It is like just like it was back then. Saw the bathtub, and it's funny because actually Al Capone had stayed in this room when they were transporting him for his prison sentence. So it's got a lot of history. So we saw the room. It's right down the hall. So I wanted to talk a little bit about ghosts, what my thoughts are and what they are, and what we can do to help, if there's anything that we can do to help them, because you know, they are humans, or humans at one point. If they're stuck somewhere and they're reliving this like that U2 song, you're stuck in a moment you can't get out of, then it's our duty to do what we can to help, you know. And you know, also there's a lot of fear, a lot of just nervousness around ghosts and what they are. So as far as, like, you know, as just a basic description of kind of what I believe, like I said, I believe that when we die, and we're going to talk a little bit about death and fear in this as well. When we die, our body, our energetic signature, like our astral body or a subtle body, the physical body deteriorates, and then the kind of energetic body holds its form and a certain amount of memory and a certain amount of intelligence before it kind of disintegrates as the spirit, the soul, goes through the death process. And what can happen is, if there's a lot of fear, if there's a lot of shame or guilt, or when someone dies, or if it's horrific, that charge keeps the astral double or astral body, or your subtle body, we'll call it your subtle body, basically keeps it formed, and this charge of whatever this moment was is enough to kind of give it some life. Now, that spirit is kind of stuck in that mind loop of whatever that was, because it doesn't really know what to do. It's lost, right? It's confused, and especially in our culture, we don't really have a good map for the death process. I was raised Christian, so it's really, you know, the map that I was given was you die, you're judged if you're a Christian, or you've been cleansed of your sins. You go to heaven, which we don't really know exactly what that is, and if not, you go to hell for eternity and burn. And so for me, there was always this worry, this concern, this like, oh my, am I going to go to hell for eternity because I messed up? So a lot of people have beliefs that are similar to that. Beliefs of being judged and being condemned to an afterlife of torture. So whenever that belief is present in the mind when the body dies, it kind of sets the scene for what the person is about to experience. At least, and you know, I believe that a big portion of what happens after you die is up to you, up to what your beliefs are, up to the ideas that you have, that the mind kind of retreats into the concepts that it's comfortable with. Now, there are some resources about what happens after death that I would recommend, such as the Tibetan Book of the Dead, the Egyptian Book of the Dead, where they kind of walk you through the stages that your mind goes into in the death process and the certain levels, and gives you an idea of what you can expect. You know, I believe that all is mind, so all of this is really in mind. And the way that I look at it is like you're in a building, and you're in the bottom floor of the building, and you have to find the elevator, and you have to press the right button, give the password to go to the next level. So you know, everyone talks about your life flashing before flashing before your eyes when you die. So I believe there's a function of your mind that will replay, judge itself, and then create the next experience in a spiritual way, in a mental way. So we don't really have a good map. A lot of people are, I'm going to go to heaven, I'm going to go to hell, nothing's going to happen. And generally, I believe initially what happens after we die is pretty much what we can expect. What do we expect already? It's comfortable, it's easy. So if you expect to go to heaven and heaven is this, it'll appear that way. If you expect to go to hell and you be damned, it will appear that way. If you think nothing is going to happen, it will appear that way. And this is because we're all have that spark of divinity, and we are all have part of that creatorship, right? So, for example, in a lot of cultures, they will, after the person dies, they will kind of sing these prayers, give these instructions, these mantras to help the soul navigate the afterlife. I do believe that you judge yourself in a lot of ways. You judge who you've been. I don't necessarily think there's an external force. It may appear that way that judges you, but in a lot of cultures there's some sort of judgment. Your heart needs to be light as a feather, and then you can progress, you can go on it, and the end result is basically with God. Whatever that looks like. You hang out with God forever, or you go into a spiritual realm for a while, and then you want to reincarnate, you want to come back, you kind of get to design your next step, your next form. These are just my beliefs, by the way. But so I believe that your soul judges itself. It kind of goes into its own creation of what it expects, and then it has some time there where it can choose to come back. Maybe it's forced to come back. It has a yearning or an attachment it can't let go of, or it can evolve into the next life form, whatever that looks like, right? Whatever that is, whether you become an angel, you become one with God, you go back to source, right? So anyway, when I first kind of started going through, and I hate saying it, but like the awakening process or whatever, I experienced a lot of ghosts, or whatever I could perceive as ghosts. There was one point where I had a friend over, and she freaked out when she got to my house because she's like, there's a guy with a knife behind you. There's a guy with a knife behind you. I was like, I know. Don't worry though. And she ended up like just freaking out and getting out of there. There was some pretty terrifying stuff. A lot of, there's times where I looked into my living room and I saw, ghosts everywhere. And as your spirit starts to kind of evolve and flower and transform, you'll kind of be able to sense these things, and you'll also in a way attract these other life forms. Like these forms will these spirits will intuitively come to you for help. They see, okay, this is a light, maybe he can help me, I don't know what's going on, can you help me? Kind of like in the Sixth Sense. I don't really experience it too much now because I'm banishing twice a day, and I keep the company of the highest order of beings that I can find, angels, whatever. So I'm constantly kind of cleaning and clearing my space. So anything that's kind of a nature that I don't want in it is kind of moved out. And it's kind of like there's a barrier between that. But suffice to say, I sensed a lot of this stuff when I just started kind of going through this process. It was very scary. It was very scary. It's terrifying. Anytime that you can see something that's not there, you don't know what it is, because really we can kind of speculate, but, it's not like there's been an in-depth scientific study about this stuff. I'd like for there to be one day, but I'm getting off track. So, yeah, we did the room. You can see the bathtub where it happened. It definitely has this eerie, kind of creepy vibe to it, right? And you can tell some people start to there was a lady that started to almost act like a little bit like a 1920s, like to develop the mannerisms and like the, like this personality kind of came out of her. Everyone kind of started to pop into like very archetypal roles, almost like we were playing out the scene, not like in a bad way, but you can tell like people's personalities started to shift. There was an energetic theme, an energetic tone to the room. And I think this hotel in general has a lot of that. It's been here a very long time. It's seen a lot of different stuff. People have died here. There's been a lot of charged situations. So there was a morgue in the basement. It was a military hospital. So yeah, we were walking around like the lobby, and like they got this old like speakeasy jazz bar kind of thing, and people, you look at some people and they look at you and you're like, are you a ghost? So who knows, right? Can they appear as human, as real as you and I would imagine so, because this really is all going on in your mind. It's an electrical signal. So why couldn't they appear as a real person? Why couldn't you perceive that particular signature, energetic signature, as a person? So, yeah, very, very, very weird. But also, we really should do our best not to be afraid of things. We really are afraid of stuff we don't understand. And the better of an idea or a better map that we have, it eliminates that fear, right? If people knew what happened after when you died, if people knew what to expect, if people knew how to act, if people knew whatever the passwords, the levels, if people were trained on that, it would eliminate a lot of the fear around death, a lot of the uncertainty, the unknown. If you say, okay, I can expect this, my mind is going to do this, I think it'd be much better. Now, yeah. So I definitely think that should happen. We should definitely be given a better map of the afterlife, or what to expect, as it's happened to everybody almost in existence. There's probably some people who've never died, but I would imagine that most people have died. So it's a pretty human experience, death. If we're gonna be born, we're gonna die, kind of thing. So it'd be awesome if we had kind of a better understanding of what that is and what that looked like. And some other cultures, like I said, the Tibetan culture, the Egyptian culture, figured it out. I also do think that sleep is kind of, in a way, preparation for death, because we have to go to sleep every night. And where do you go when you die? You disappear. It looks like you're still here. Your body's still there, but who knows where you're at. When you go to sleep, you lose yourself. You lose track of yourself. So, in a way, it's a mini death. You completely blank out, and then all of a sudden you come back. You have these dreams. Maybe you don't. There's this period of nothingness that you don't really know what's going on, and then you're back. And I think that is a kind of a little training ground for what to experience when you die. And before you go to sleep tonight, you're not terrified you're going to go to sleep, usually, unless you have some really wicked night terrors or nightmares or something's going on. But typically you just let go and you go to sleep. You lose yourself, knowing fully that you'll come back. You'll come back. You'll come back in the morning when you wake up, and you'll be there, and things will be just like it is. So I definitely think practicing how we use sleep will help prepare us for the unknown that death is, right? So I definitely think do not be afraid. Don't be afraid. Like, in a way, fear is a friend, but it's ultimately meant to be transcended. I do think that. Now, what can we do for ghosts? If we experience a ghost or a situation like that, and there's levels to this, right? Is it an interdimensional being? Is it a ghost? Is it an alien? Is it an angel? Is it a demon? Is it a jinn? Is it a spirit? What is it? So there's still a lot of this stuff is kind of guesswork. But if you encounter a ghost, one thing that I think would be useful is the license to depart. Just like if you're doing a ritual, you give the spirit license to depart. Go in peace, cause no harm to myself, my loved ones. You may go back to whence you came. I release you. Go back. You're free to leave. Something like that, basically. And sometimes all the spirit needs is a little bit of direction. Someone say, I recognize you. I see you. You are free to go. You're free to go home. You're free to go to the next level. You're free to do this. You're free to be at peace. If, like, my wife is really good at kind of mediumship, so if it's something that you can do to help, great. If it's something that you can fix, amazing. If you can offer forgiveness, the spirit forgiveness, or really just kind of remind the spirit of who it actually is. Not on like a personal level, but on like a ultimate level. You know, if you can, it's like truth. If you can speak some truth that will remind the spirit, oh, okay, this is a maze. I'm not lost. That's the exit, right? Here's the door. Here's the light. And of course, some people say that is a false light. We're not going to get into that at this point. But if you can offer some truth, some forgiveness, some direction, reminding the spirit, this is who you are. Remember who you are. Go here. Do this. This is, you can let go. It's going to be all right, kind of thing. So, yeah. If you're ever in Chattanooga, definitely, come to the Reed House, see the room. There's a lot of other ghost tours and stuff, but I haven't really talked about ghosts yet, so I wanted to just kind of give my thoughts. It can be scary, and if there is a situation or an environment where you are experiencing a lot of the same phenomenon and you're pretty sure it's a ghost, definitely do some banishing, definitely do some energetic work, do some cleansing rituals, some purification rituals. You can go around and hey, any beings that I do not want here, anything harmful, unhealthy, unhelpful, leave now, do not return, stuff like that. So what I did is hopefully during this video give some insight into where the path is for any spirits in the vicinity that are lost, that are confused, that are uncertain who they are. Try and remind them that this is a process. You can go to the next level. You are source. You're divine. You're in your mind, right? The way out is you. You are free to do as you wish. You don't have to remain stuck. You can go to the next level when you're ready. So what I did is I wanted to make a sigil for Annalisa Netherly. So a sigil is basically a symbol that you create that is charged with an intention. There's a lot of different ways to do it. This is the one I did. It's not very pretty. I've made much prettier ones, and a lot of other people make really pretty ones, but it's a sigil. So the sentence that I created the sigil with, let's see here, is basically Annalisa Netherly, is free and at peace. So Annalisa Netherly is free and at peace. Annalisa Netherly is free and at peace. So that was kind of a good intention, and I created the sigil, which is basically a symbolic picture of that intention, and then I charged it with my intention. So I didn't really get the sense that she wasn't at peace, so this is kind of just a cherry on top in case I was wrong. But I did, going in that room, feel like she was in a lot of ways at peace, and had moved on to that next level. But if not, then it's just a further, hey, here you go. I see you, I recognize you, go in peace kind of thing. So those are my thoughts. Really is a summation. Don't be afraid. Remember who you are. If you offer good intentions, usually you get good intentions back. Help where you can. And yeah, I think that's basically it. I do believe in ghosts. I am still developing my own understanding of these things, and it's a very subtle art and science. But do your purification, do your banishing, have good intentions. You can do a lot of things to help, and if not, you can help escort them where they need to go. So anyway, thanks for sticking around watching this video. If you've stayed to the end, wow, amazing. I am going to keep doing better and better as far as I can. And I know Sean was like, you should look into the camera. I don't know why you're not looking at the camera, so I'm working on it. I am designing a ritual for my subscribers. So if you subscribe to my videos or my channel, thank you. If you've liked a video or commented on a video, I really appreciate you. But I am going to be working on a ritual that I can offer to my subscribers, just free. It's just like thank you that I'll do, and if you opt in, great. If not, it's all right. No harm, no foul. But I will like to give back in some way, so I'm working on a little ritual. And yeah, I will see you in the next one. Again, thanks for subscribing, thanks for watching, thanks for your comments, thanks for your likes. I really am grateful for you. I really appreciate you wherever you are. I hope you are doing amazing. I hope things just get better and better for you. And I wish you the best. All right, see you in the next one.